And that brings us, well, to the end of our highlights, Will, and some tightly contested games. And all I know, without looking at the 4A SIC standings, is this is going to get complicated as we head down the stretch, Will.
Yeah, JT, I don't envy whoever has to decide on who crowns the 4A SIC champion this fall. Let's start out with Coach Brennan and the Knights going on the road to Middleton. As you said, JT, 20 unanswered points to pull off the big stunning road win. That's a big win coming from behind for Bishop Kelly. Then you go over to Nampa, the Bulldogs. As you said, the Bulldogs, the bigger bite tonight. That's a big time win. Gives Valley View their first loss of the season. Ask me now who sits atop the 4A SIC. Honest truth, JT, I couldn't tell you right now. I should know.
I know. All that you have a Middleton team that I think is very talented, and they got 3 losses, but Valley View, Bishop Kelly, Nampa all have 1 loss. Emmett's in the thick of it. By the way, I know we reported this on the news at 10 tonight. That game was called at halftime. I'm not going to give any more attention to the reason why it was called at halftime. Check out KTVB.com. But what I want to say is they're searching for answers right now to see if that game actually counts. So we'll have to see. Will, before I let you go, got one more question for you. Is Rocky Mountain good enough to win state this year? They certainly seem like the class of the 5A SIC. They are the only undefeated team left in the 5A SIC after Eagle beat Meridian tonight.
Yeah, JT, simple answer for you, yeah, absolutely. Coach Kulig and company, they have things rolling on all cylinders. Offense, defense, let's start with their offense. They can beat you in multitude of ways. Kobe Ward getting things done through the air. He's a fantastic quarterback, leads that offense. And then that rushing attack, you got Max Lehman. Jordan Erickson's kind of that weapon that they bring in from the slot, can run the ball as we saw all of last season as well, just a dynamic weapon. They have a lot of receivers as well, strong offensive line like they always do year in and year out, and then their defense is just really, really stout. Fantastic pass rush. Their linebackers fly to the ball, and their secondary makes plays as well. This team is loaded, as good as any you'll find in the state. Anxious to see next week, as we talked with Coach Young from Skyview, of course, they're hosting Highland. Highland traditionally one of the top programs as well, and we'll be able to get our first glimpse of the Rams. Don't often see them in the regular season at least, so it would be a good chance to see where they stack up with the top teams here in the Valley. Yeah,
it's interesting. It will be kind of a barometer, but as we hit the home stretch, you mentioned this a little bit earlier tonight, Will. You were trying to hype candy corn. Candy corn is terrible, and I can only hope that the football we see down the stretch here is nothing like candy corn.
Dude, it is so good. Go to Fred Meyer, Target, the dollar store right now. It is just filled aisle to aisle. I mean,
why do you think? Because nobody wants to buy it.
Pumpkins. I'm telling you, I will eat it. If I'm the only one in Boise that'll eat it, hey, you know what? I'll own it. Yeah. I love candy corn, as you know, JT. Real quickly, can we, I want to chat Capital and the Boise School District schools. Capital, man, I've seen them the last 2 weeks. Coach Simmons has them rolling as well. Anxious to see what they can do once we get some crossover pod games and see what they can do down the stretch. I know they've only played 2 games, but they've impressed me. They have some weapons, offense, defense. Jackson Reed, as you know, JT, is such a big-time weapon on both sides of the ball. Justice Del Rio, as we saw in those highlights, with the pick 6 tonight against Boise. Capital looks really strong to me. Cannot wait to see them. I think they take on Timberline either next week or the following week. 2 2-0 teams. That'll be a lot of fun to see how those two stack up against one another.
I believe it is next week. Timberline, Capital next week, and then the following week you have Timberline Skyview, which will be very important in terms of seeding, especially depending on who wins that showdown between Capital and Timberline. Either way, things are very competitive at the top of that pod. A lot that still needs to be determined over the course of the next few weeks, and of course we'll bring that to you on Friday Night Football. We'll go get some candy corn, man. 4 games for the 3rd straight week, I think, right? Is that right?
No worries.
You deserve some candy corn tonight, buddy. We appreciate it.
You betcha. Thanks, JT.
All right, that's going to do it for this edition of Friday Night Football, brought to you by Steve's Hometown Toyota in Ontario. Coming down the stretch run of the high school football season. Plenty more good games to come. We'll see you next Friday.